Hey everybody, and welcome to Truck King. So recently I did a video talking about the 5 biggest mistakes people make backing up. Well, you know what? Right now I thought, to be honest, I better make a video about the biggest mistakes that I've made while towing. So let me show you, and I'll also show you some of the damage I've done right now. So right off the top, this is my 2024 Chevy Silverado 3500 HD. If you've been following the channel, you know that I bought this truck to replace my 2500 Ram. And a couple of things that were very important to me. Number one, 8-foot bed, so I got that because it matters with this particular trailer as far as clearance is concerned for when you're turning. Now, I drove this unit to Louisiana just recently, so 3,000 miles there and back. However, one of the things that occurred when I was in Louisiana, and it's very interesting, and you might notice right here that you'll see a little bit of wrinkling in that sheet metal and a nice little divot right here. Now, I'd love to say that this is a manufacturing defect, but no, this is a my wife defect. And this is what happens when you drop 7 tons of trailer right on the back of the truck. And that's what I want to talk to you about. I want to talk about the fact that, I've been hauling for over 40 years. But man, people make mistakes. And why do we make mistakes? Because we hurry, we don't do the safe thing, and we simply take shortcuts. So let's talk about that.
Hey folks, I am sitting here in Dad's 2024 Chevy 3500 to tell you about the 70 mi A810 dash cam, and thanks to 70 mi for sponsoring this video. So the real beauty of the A810 is that it records video out the front windshield but also out of the back, so you're getting full coverage around your vehicle in case of an emergency or of course a collision. Now for quality, the front camera can shoot 4K, the rear camera just goes up to 1080, but both of them use HDR technology to make sure they're producing a crystal clear image. And there's also special night vision on these cameras as well. So if you go out at night, once again, and something happens, you're gonna have real clarity in that image to make sure you can see everything that's going on. One of my favorite features here is the Smart Parking Guardian mode. When the vehicle is shut off, the camera is still sensing motion and it will record anything that comes close to your vehicle. One note though, you do need the hardwire kit to make sure Smart Parking Guardian mode is active at all times. Another neat feature here, ADAS, that's automated driver assistance systems. So this camera is looking for pedestrians and cyclists. It has front collision alert, moving traffic alert, and as you can hear here, lane departure warning.
Lane departure.
Finally, I should mention, setup here is easy. 70 mi provides you with the little electromagnetic sticker. Put that on the windshield, slap the camera up, and you're almost good to go. You do have to run the wiring up through your headliner, but 70 mi also provides a little tool. Takes a few minutes, but once it's in there for good, you don't have to worry about it anymore. So if you're interested in one of these cameras, go down into the description. You'll find a link with the special discount code so you can save some money on your very own 70 mi A810.
In Louisiana, we were in a trailer park. We had a nice site, but a better one backing onto a pond opened up. My wife said, I want to move. I went, of course, we will move. So just for fun, because this is a new truck, I asked her to back it underneath the trailer and hook up the pin. We were moving a total of 400 meters. So I did have her back up. I actually dropped the trailer to where it was right where it needed to be on the plate, on the 5th wheel, and then I asked her to hit it a little bit. She hit it a lot of bit, but the point being is that I had the front landing gear on blocks, 12-inch blocks. They got knocked over, trailer dropped, smash! My brand new truck. Could I really blame her? No, because here is mistake number 1. When you are hooking up, you should back up to the pin, but don't contact the pin. hook up all your lines, and before you get under that, get in and get your trailer brakes completely locked. You should be holding your trailer brakes as you back under. This is the same thing they teach you if you've got a Class A or a CDL down there in the States. You back up to the pin, you get out, you hook up your air lines, you charge the brakes on the trailer, you hold the trailer brakes closed, and then you do it. And how many drivers do it? Very, very few, including myself, which is the reason anytime you go to a transport yard, you'll see their fences all knocked down because guys hit the pin and it doesn't lock. Instead, they push the trailer right through the fence. You know, these are the little safety things that you have to do every single time. And I also made one of the huge mistakes. I was moving 400 meters. I wasn't gonna hook up the power. I didn't need brakes. I was on level ground. I didn't need lights. I'm in the campground. And because of that, I didn't have brakes, and I went ahead and pushed that trailer right off of the blocks. Smash. So enough of that. Anybody who's been doing this long enough, and frankly, I've been doing this over 40 years, knows that if you run any kind of heavy equipment, all right, trucks, trailers, backhoes, bulldozers, farm tractors, I don't care. You are going to hit stuff. It is inevitable that you are going to crease and crunch and dent. It just happens. I don't care how careful you want to be. But that does not change the fact that each and every time you perform some sort of a movement, you got to do it in the safest possible way. Shortcuts are the road to hell. Take shortcuts and you are guaranteed to smash up your stuff. So in the same way, I mentioned that I replaced my Dodge, my Ram 2500 with this Chevy. And the reason I did that is because I had a mid-size box, 6 foot 4 inches, and with the fifth wheel, I would contact the rear of the cab. And despite the fact that I ran it out there and I knew exactly how far I could go and not contact the cab, and then decided that, well, I'll never go further than that, down in New Mexico one night, I did exactly that. Blew out the whole back window. $1,000 later, there comes a mistake. And that's the kind of thing where you just kick yourself because you say, I knew better. So, 8-foot bed, that's no longer an issue. However, while I was researching, I also discovered that we tend to think of box lengths with the pickups as being short, medium, and then of course long. Long being the 8-foot bed. Ford and Chev will give you 6 foot 10 inches on their mid-size bed, whereas Ram will only give you 6 foot 4. 6 inches is a big deal when you're talking about turning radius. So again, it's one of these things you got to be aware of this and not just assume that mid-size on each of the brands is the same. You know, if you own a boat, there's a common expression. They say that all boat owners sooner or later are affected by footitis, meaning simply that no matter how big their boat is, they want a bigger one. Now, that very much works in the same way when it comes to RVs, because you start out with what you think you like, and then at the end of the first season, you find the things you don't like. No problem there. You know, keep the economy rolling. Sell it, buy a different one. Trouble is, most people, myself included, I went out, sold my 32-foot Cougar, went and bought the 35-foot Grand Design, and everything changed. My truck didn't change, dummy. So after trying to hook it up, it was like, yeah, it hooked up. Boy, it didn't drive like the Cougar did, didn't tow like it, wasn't handling the same way. And of course, that was not a fault of the truck. It was a fault of the fact that I had went ahead and added 2,500 dry pounds to the weight. So I was maxed out on my payload, and at the same time, the configuration of this trailer cut down the amount of clearance I had for swinging. So, you know, you got to always realize that every time you change one component, that's going to affect every other component. So, same thing. You want to change RVs? Well, you better start thinking about whether or not you're going to have to change trucks at the same time, which, at the end of the day, is what I ended up doing. So, this truck, 8-foot bed, 3,500, so I got lots and lots of payload this time. It does everything wonderfully, and as long as you don't drop the damn trailer on the back of the truck, it's a really nice combination. So as I mentioned, a lot of guys will get a new trailer. They don't want to change out their truck. Well, then you go to the aftermarket and they will offer you all types of solutions when it comes to the hitches. One of the biggest being the sliding hitch systems, which will actually give you more clearance. Personally, I hate them because I hate it when it slides and it bangs, so I wouldn't want that. However, they also have offset hitches, such as the crosswing that we tested earlier last year, which gave me an additional 8.5 inches behind the rear axle and simply attached to the gooseneck ball. So you do have certain options, but that will never change the simple fact that a truck has certain weight limitations. So if you suddenly get footitis like I did and went up, bought a bigger trailer, that will not help you where weight is concerned. Now, the other thing to consider if you switch brands, as I did, is that what fits in the Ram doesn't fit in the Chev and certainly didn't fit in the Ford. We were just playing with that today and pulled the fifth wheel that I have in the Chev. I pulled it out and said, hey, let's throw this in the Ford and let's go tow something, only to discover that it's 5 inches narrower. Now, somewhere in the back of my mind, I already knew that. But let's face it, there's a lot of stuff rattling around in here, and I simply forgot. And so we cannot afford to forget that each and every item made up of a towing rig is specific and individual, and they don't all interchange. So anytime you're going to change any one of these components, you're going to change the truck, the bed length, the type of hitch, the trailer, how it hooks up, and the weights. Sorry guys, pencil and paper. You got to sit down, you got to do the math, you got to do the research. Otherwise, worst thing you can ever do is just go out and buy it, come home and realize it don't work. Okay folks, so you know what, that's it for this one. I mean, this is just me yakking, but however, you know, I think the thing here is that we got to keep talking about our experiences. We got to keep talking about towing. And I don't mind telling you how I dented my $100,000 truck because it was dumb. And we always hope when we do something dumb that we won't do it again. So you know what, before you go down in the comments and let me know really the dumbest thing you've ever done while towing, because I got a feeling we're going to share a lot of stories with each other and they're all going to be a lot more similar than you'd like to think. So that's it. So go below, hit like, hit subscribe, join to become a member of our channel, and always remember to hit that notification bell so that you get every new Truck King video. And I will be back soon to tell you more stories.